Sometimes the deepest wounds aren't the ones we can see, they're the ones we feel. On today's Radio Medium Know Your Worth series, we're going to explore hidden injuries that often go unnoticed after an accident. And it's not just in the body, but in the mind, the spirit. Today, I'm joined by legal expert Todd Bresney, a senior partner at Kanowski Bresney Law, to shed light on the silent impact of injuries. Welcome back, Todd.
Thanks, Laura.
What are the most common hidden injuries people tend to ignore even when their body is trying to tell them something that isn't right?
Well, your regular whiplash can be that. Your concussion symptoms can be that. Nerve damage or your disc can be slipped out of place. And over a period of time, due to regular normal use after the trauma, you start impinging these nerves and get to the point where ultimately you might need surgery 6 weeks, half a year, even a year later.
What about PTSD? Is that in that category as well?
Absolutely. Post-traumatic stress disorder, you can have various different types. So the emotional or the mental injury can be directly related to a brain injury like you would have in a closed head injury or concussion type situation. But it can also arise out of just a horrible event where you just barely made it out with your life. And these mental injuries are just as important and affect your life just as much as physical ones can. Maybe these new problems that you're having, this depression, this anxiety, it was caused because of the wreck or because of a fall or whatever you've been involved in 6 months ago.
Have you ever experienced a case where someone initially brushed off their symptoms only later to discover something much more serious?
All the time. Most people try to get better. Most people will live with a little bit of discomfort and pain and go on with their daily normal lives because we must, especially in today's environment of high medical bills. They're going to try and buy the over-the-counter things and try and rest and try and ice and try and stretch and do other modalities that aren't going to cost a lot of money. And that's perfectly normal and that's reasonable. But yes, many of those people end up needing surgery. Many of those people with surgery end up having lifelong problems after that.
So many people override their intuition, especially after trauma, telling themselves, I'm fine, it's not that bad. Why is it so important for people to slow down, truly listen to their bodies after an accident?
Well, I think those positive affirmations are a defense mechanism, and I don't think they're bad. What I'm advocating for, and I think what we all need to practice, is take it day by day. Pay attention more. We get 2-3 days out, we just want to put it behind us. Yeah, it was a horrible situation, but I'm walking, I'm working, I'm going to bed. Now, my sleep's not good and I'm getting irritable, but I'll get better. It's at that point where after a couple days, if it's not getting better, you absolutely need to listen and you do need to go get checked out. And I'll tell you, the liability insurance industry day in, day out will say all those delays are proof that the person wasn't injured the way that they claim. It's lies, and it's my job to make sure those lies don't stick. But the fact of the matter is, that's what they do.
For someone listening who feels off but can't quite explain why, what's one simple step they can take today?
Well, we're talking about mistakes that shouldn't have been made that caused personal injury. It's perfectly okay if you're having aches and things that you can manage to wait a few days or a day to hope that it gets better. But if it's not, and you don't lie to yourself, the sooner you get treatment, the faster you'll recover.
Todd, for our listeners who feel called to seek clarity, guidance, or your support, where can they find you?
Well, they can always find me on the internet at bresneylaw.com or call 1-888, the letter U, the word count, and the number 2. And we'll be glad to take down information and see if we can help.
And just let me remind you all that pain doesn't have to be visible to be valid. If something within you is asking for attention, listen to it, because knowing your worth isn't just legal, it is deeply personal. And if you like this message and you want more, remember you can tune into your spirit each and every day by subscribing to this podcast and be social with us. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode and share it with your family and friends. We'd appreciate that.